At their core, all tales, both real and imagined, are rooted in some truth. But Cinderella, a fairy tale spun from the imaginations of storytellers, held a little too much truth for Mary Ann Murphy. Its narrative mirrored her own reality in a very unsettling way. The start of Mary's life seemed so different. She was born out of love to two parents who were happily married. They lived in Glasgow, in their own little bubble. She was nurtured and adored by her mother, who was devoted to the young Mary. But tragedy was just around the corner. Kathleen Murphy succumbed to tuberculosis at the tender age of 23, leaving behind a bereft, grief-stricken husband and a confused 5-year-old child who spent months crying out for her mother. Unable to cope, George Murphy foisted the care of his child onto his sisters. They were stone-hearted women, with little affection or sympathy for the child who had been forced on them. They weren't shy about making their feelings known, to her at least. My mother never experienced the carefree joys of childhood. Her earliest memories were not of comfort, but of absence. Her mother died when she was still young enough to forget her face, but old enough to feel the hollow Kathleen's death left behind. The aunts, sharp-handed women, took her in out of duty, not love, and treated her like an orphan. There was bitterness about another child to look after, another mouth to feed. There was no kindness or love for Mary, and it would be a pattern that would follow her for most of her life. She would carry that ache of love withheld and a childhood stolen for the rest of her life. But she would carry it on her own terms, because in a city that tried to forget girls like her, Mary remembered herself. To understand my mother and the woman she became, we need to go back to her beginning. Mary Ann Murphy was born on May 22nd, 1926. Her father was a merchant seaman and was often gone for long periods of time. Instead of seeking comfort with his child, he used his job as an escape from his grief. Besides, it wasn't on a man's radar to take care of children. It was the duty of women to care for the children, while the men worked and brought home the money. And so, George decided his child would live with his sisters, and he would send the money when he could. Mary's well-being and upbringing was left to the two women. Mary was an obligation, not a joy. A tiresome, unwanted burden. The sisters showed their resentment by abusing her both physically and mentally.